Hey everybody, I'm Creed and welcome to Creed's Other Art episode 9. Today what I'm finishing up is my DC project. So we're going to start with Ambush Bug. So the premise of this whole project is what would happen if you were transported to the DC universe. And the first thing I thought of is there's a lot of versions of the DC universe, some of which suck really bad and some of which rule. I want to get to one of those that rule. So I was thinking how I would do it. Now with my knowledge of the 80s DC universe, the first thing you want to be is not just a normal person in the DC universe. You need some kind of edge, some kind of protection, some kind of gimmick that will, if you're going to dig deep into this universe, you want some kind of backup protection. And my thought on it is I want to see if I can get Ambush Bug's teleportation ability. Even if he just has a jar of those bugs he used to use when Ambush Bug first came out, he teleported with the use of little robotic bugs. And after that, the power got put right into his suit. But I'd be hoping that he could help me out somehow and hook me up with some teleportation. The second reason I'd get hold of Ambush Bug is he'd be the only one besides myself who knows he's in a comic book universe. Ambush Bug lives on both sides of the fourth wall. He's met Julie Schwartz. I mean, there's not too many DC characters that met Julie Schwartz, who, if nobody knows, that's the guy that used to be in charge of DC. So yeah, the first thing I would do is look for Erwin Schwab and try to track him down. That's Ambush Bug. And I'd pal up with him. And then after I palled up with Ambush Bug, we would track down the House of Mystery. Now that could be tough, that could be easy depending on what universe we're in. And this all depends on if Ambush Bug even exists in the DC that I am dropped into. Let's assume he does. So the next part is what you really need the backup for. Need some kind of power, some kind of help. Because if you're going to head into the House of Mystery, it's one of the least safe places in the DC universe. But what my premise is that Kane, who mostly runs the House of Mystery, although it was also run by Abel at some point, and also run by Elvira. But if you can get hold of Kane, and if you can run into the right version of Kane, then he'll probably help you. In more of a sinister, if you're going to do this, it's very dangerous, but go ahead kind of way. And so then, okay, so I drew Kane, and he's going to be leaning up against the machine. Ambush Bug goes inside the machine, and all those DC character heads I've been working on go on the outside of the machine. And I'd imagine Kane would keep this in the basement. And I was going to make it all dusty, but I don't think it would be. It'd be pulsating with energy from the multiverse, so I don't think any dust would even settle on it. It would always look brand new. So it's a claw machine, and Ambush Bug looks like he's trapped in there, but there's more than enough space. It's multi-dimensional, so it's not just the size of the machine. But you'd use the claw to grab what world you wanted, and that would transport you. So if you want to get to Earth X or Earth C or one of the else worlds, or, as you can probably tell from all the people in this drawing, I would head to the 80s DC universe. Probably just pre-Crisis would be where I'd go. Which is sort of dangerous because I don't know if I'd get erased in the Crisis or what would happen. But there's a lot of cool, just the end of what they call the Bronze Age. Like the Detroit Justice League, which was excellent and I'm a big fan. Except for the long run of Luke McDonald's art in there. And oh man, that guy draws frumpy, dumpy short little characters. Everybody's looks like they're blobbed together out of clay. I really don't like his art. But I really like the book. And it's one of the few times I would still follow a book even when the art went bad. So this is the big reveal. It's nothing amazing, but this is exactly what I saw in my head when I heard the premise of being transported to one of your fandom universes. And I would just say DC, but like I said, there are some really crappy DC and there's some really great DC. And if you were put in the wrong one, that's where I come up with this idea that Kane would have a machine. So that's my DC project. I don't really think I'll be doing too much more DC stuff in the near future, except for possibly the Zoo Crew, which I really do want to draw, and I just may get to. So I hope you like this project. I don't know really how many people out there this is for. It's really just for me. But if you enjoy it, that's fantastic. So this ends the first project of Creed's Other Art. And all 9 are in a playlist that I will link below if you want to see the whole thing right from the start. The whole reason that I drew those character faces separately is to get the detail. If I drew them as part of this, I couldn't get the kind of detail into the faces like that. Same with Kane and Ambush Bug. I can get them drawn way better. I can draw them way better separately and then put them in. And you may also notice a spot here where I lose some video. I'm not sure what went wrong, but a piece of my inking disappeared. So next up on Creed's Other Art is going to be my unfinished comic book from the 90s. It is not professional quality, but there is some good art and a few good premises in the comic. So I'm going to show and talk about that in the next episode. And meanwhile, the return of Creed Saturday Morning is pretty damn nigh. I'm working on a lot of stuff. Doubling my workload due to Halloween has sort of slowed me down a little bit because I'm doing a lot of Halloween stuff that I'm not going to post right now. That's all going to be used for October. So that's going to be my event of the year. It's going to be 31 days of art. And I may even not dress up this year because if I do, it may stop me from getting this 31 days of art finished. So I think this is going to be my main Halloween celebration this year, is making art and videos. So my comic's about time being frozen, an alien invasion, and superheroes that base their costumes on characters in their pop culture who I made up. So it should be pretty interesting. Like I said, I didn't finish the issue, but it was really an exercise to teach myself to make comics, and what it turned out to be was an exercise of teaching myself that I didn't want to make comics. And I have nothing against comics. I love comics. I just don't want to make any. I'd love to be an inker. If somebody has a really dark horror themed comic that they want some really streamlined dark inks for, give me a shout. I'd love to do a project like that, but I don't want to make my own. And the art is exactly the opposite of how I draw now, so it'll be interesting to see. So stay tuned for that next episode, and until then, have a good one. Well, thanks for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Here's a couple of videos you might want to watch. I made them myself. You never know what I'll draw next. You might want to subscribe to keep up. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how you feel. And until next time, take her easy.